Hi, I'm HP, your friendly guitar from the neighborhood. I was sitting in the garden the other day, playing guitar, then my neighbor came, Mrs. Barnes, and I asked her very friendly, "Hello, Mrs. Barnes. I'm currently practicing two little songs on my guitar. Do you mind if I play it in God? I don't think it will disturb you too much. See, they are very similar little songs. This is this one here. And the other one I'm going to play after that one. Is that okay for you, Mrs. Barnes?" She said, "No, that's not a problem. It's a lovely, lovely little tune." I said, "Okay, good. Then now I play the other one." You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't get any cakes anymore after that. Well, today's topic is metal, actually, and in metal we often use the Phrygian natural 3 mode or the Phrygian normal Phrygian mode, and these are a few ways how we really can use that stuff. Some ideas in detail, because I mean the topic itself is a little bit complicated. But I'm gonna go through it step by step, very easy to understand. Finally, if you went through the the modes boot camp I created, oops, yeah, that's because of Mrs. Barnes, because she was so angry. Yeah, so we gotta check it out now in detail. I think you really get the other point of those two scales, especially in metal. So first of all, before we start, we need to understand the riff, which is happening. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy one. It's in E actually, because we have this. Very easy one. A lot with the right hand here. Pull off 3-0. So we have E5, D5 with the open E string. Then we pull off here, 3-0, 3-0, and this comes 3 times. And now comes F5, G5, F sharp 5, G sharp 5. Actually, this little sequence, this stuff, these are wrong notes. These are right notes, and actually this now finally defines the mode which we are using. Before it was not clear which mode you can use, it was just clear some kind of a minor, but now playing the F5 to G5, it's very clear that this must be Phrygian or Phrygian natural 3 mode. And the F sharp 5 and G sharp 5, this is just we're moving a pattern chromatically up, which gives this a quite out sound, but it works very fine. We could even do it further, but I think this is called outplaying. But when you play, we make outplaying, don't make it too long, otherwise people really think that you're playing wrong notes. But this is very cool. So that's the entire riff which is happening. So now we found out this must be Phrygian scale. Why? Because when this is a minor, E minor, and if we have F and then G, major chord as following up chords just beside. It's only happening in Phrygian mode that the major chord is just half step above. So now, what is Phrygian mode? If you're familiar with the pentatonics, it's very easy, because the pentatonics, the E minor pentatonics, which you should know by now, otherwise you're not able to follow this tutorial, is also part of the Phrygian scale, because it is so. We have the intervals. I talk a lot about intervals. We have 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then 1 again. So this is basically the scale, the pentatonic scale. In any position is always these intervals which are happening. Phrygian has 2 additional notes. It has the flat 2, which is, as I said, the half step above the root note, and it has the flat 6, which is half step above the 5. And now we have the Phrygian scale. Very easy. And it's also possible, since you know the theory for the minor modes, that the E, since it's not defined, it's an E5, it also could be a major. So you can switch between Phrygian, and since you know from the theory, on the 5th step, which this is now, it also can be a major scale. Then we play Phrygian natural 3 scale, and this is nothing else than Phrygian. Here's the flat 3, move that 1/2 step, and now we have Phrygian natural 3. And you can do that in any position you know from the pentatonics, add those additional notes, and then we are ready to go. And you can switch between the scales just by outlining the difference between Phrygian and Phrygian natural 3. You can switch as you like, especially on that track, and that sounds great actually, as I'm going to show you now. Or here, or the high position, or even fast. Oh shit, I cannot play like this. So that's one little trick. You should see I'm sitting here, it's in this position. It's a little bit hard to play tremolo picking. There comes now the question again about the cameraman, but somehow I have somebody who wants to do camera, but somehow it I don't know, I think it's too much work. And anyway, yeah, but it has a little bit disadvantage. I can do it like this, but tremolo picking this position is really hard. I can show you in which position I'm trying to do tremolo pick. This is really terrible. Nobody can do tremolo pick like this. See? Okay, now this is a first trick which works pretty fine. And if you have that stuff together, you can play in any position. Outlining the Phrygian mode means that you outline the flat 2. Outlining the Phrygian natural 3 means you outline the natural 3 interval. And now when you play around that stuff, you're already ready to go. You can move in between positions as you like, as long as you outline those two notes, because they define the scale actually. Because the other notes, like the flat 3, the 4 and the 5, they also exist in Dorian and in Aeolian scale. So they don't make the difference. So if you outline the notes which make the difference in the scale, then you're defining the scale just by sitting on those notes or playing around. Another good method is to outline a scale is using upper structure triads. What is that? As the name is saying, since we are in Phrygian, we make a short theoretical exposition here. So, Phrygian, meaning we have E minor, next chord or triad is F major, next one is G major, next one will be A minor, and if you go below, the next lower will be D minor and then C major. So how can we put this into playing? We play arpeggios. That's very easy. And if we are in Phrygian natural 3, of course, the same upper structure triads, but it's not an E minor, it's an E major chord. So, coming back to the soloing. Now, this position is very comfortable for this. We play the little arpeggios here. So this means we're playing E major, F major, G major, A minor. If you continue, then we have B diminished. It's a little bit classical. And then we have C major, D minor, and so on. If you play in Phrygian natural 3, that was Phrygian natural 3. If it's only Phrygian, then the first one is of course E minor. And so, but since the really strong movements are happening between the major upper structure triads, you concentrate on the major, so you prefer to go for the Phrygian natural 3 structure. That means E, F, and then ended up something like this. And then we have it. So, depending on your technical abilities, you can play simple stuff. Some ideas, you can play it like this, so you can make like string skipping. Or you can make sweeping. Stuff like this, actually. So let's see how that sounds in reality. That was a little bit classical, now with the distortion. And the track. Let's see how it sounds. Oh, I have the wah-wah. I don't need the wah-wah now. Always sweep picking. I forgot the other arpeggio, which also works on Phrygian natural 3, the diminished 7 arpeggio, that because it's very easy to play. It's always 3, move up. You can play with the whole fretboard. And move up 1, move up 1. Now you need to move up 2. Comes a little bit from the classical stuff, but it's very cool on that one. And then we have it more or less. So these were now the theoretical and some examples on the topic. And now to make it even more punchy and aggressive, you might add some wah-wah effects on that. But therefore I need to go to the far view, to the whole scene, because I cannot play like this with the wah-wah. It's totally impossible, especially now on those pretty hard technical stuff. So now, adding the wah. Where's the wah? Ah, here. Now when we're trying to outline the notes again, then you make the wah effect like this. Always with the wah you give the punch. This way you can really outline the notes I was talking about. The other method is when you play like the now I can show the tremolo picking. When you play tremolo picking, now you want to add the special motion inside. You make the repeating pattern on tremolo picking, and then you make the motion with the wah. This is a great effect, and it's actually easy to play. You can even do the one note if you cannot play so fast. I'm just doing the motion with the wah. Really cool playing stuff with the wah. Also on the sweep picking, same thing, make some extra motion in the run. And that's that extra punch which we want for Mrs. Barnes. That's actually the trick behind it, and the more you can, depending on your technical abilities, you can do less or more. That doesn't make the difference with the intensity, because the intensity comes the way you go on the. You really go for those notes. You can play intense just with one or two notes. See? You can bring intensity in those one or two notes. You don't really need to play fast. Of course, it's another way to express intensity, playing fast. But for Mrs. Barnes, I think even one note is enough to really scare her a little bit up. So, that was HP and the friendly guitar, Dr. Pink. From the neighborhood. See you next time.